There are more than 7,000 children begging on the streets of Dakar, and the vast majority are actually pupils at Islamic schools.
They are beaten, tortured.
Stand up and say, enough. This is not truly what Islam wants.
Now to our investigative series, Our World. Each day in the West African state of Senegal, thousands of schoolboys are sent out to beg by their own teachers. They are the Talibes, and we meet them with our reporter Angus Crawford, who tells us this is a proud Islamic tradition that has been corrupted by poverty and indifference. Here he is with Our World, God's Beggar Children.
Some children are 3 years old. They are beaten, tortured.
Slavery is one of the names that we can call this system.
Stand up and say, enough. This is not truly what Islam wants.
It's a tradition as old as Islam itself, boys and girls learning the Quran by heart. For parents in Senegal, it's a religious duty. The state won't provide it, so they send their children to private Islamic schools or daras. For the poorest, the education is free, though the conditions are basic. The children here are well looked after. Most go home every night. But for thousands of others across the country, life in the Dara is one of abuse and exploitation. And this is where they spend much of their lives, asking for food and money ordered onto the streets by their own teachers. They're known as Talibes, Islamic students. In the past, children were sent away to religious schools and were taught for free. Local people provided food. It was a proud and honourable tradition, but this has been corrupted by poverty and mass migration. Many are now little more than beggars. There are more than 7,000 children begging on the streets of Dakar, and the vast majority are actually pupils at Islamic schools. They don't receive any of the food or money that they collect. That goes back to their teachers, and if they don't bring home enough, they may be beaten. The boys are scared. Most hide when we try to ask them questions. But we persuade some to tell us about their lives. They say they've been ordered never to talk to people with cameras. Their clothes are filthy, they have eye infections and sores on their legs. Some beg for 6 hours a day to bring back both money and food. This boy shows us where his teacher hit him.
When the children are forced to beg, the Marabout generally demands a quota each day that the child must bring back. In Dakar, that's generally around 500 sefa, which would be the equivalent of a US dollar for each child in the Dara. And if the children are unable to bring the Marabout the sum, they are beaten almost without fail, quite brutally. We documented cases of children being chained of being tied to pieces of furniture, of being locked in rooms for almost the entire day, and beaten to the point at which there are open wounds on their back and the neck.
On a back street, we find an open door. It's no secret in the community what goes on here. In stifling temperatures, the boys sit on the dirt floor, learning texts written on wooden boards. This is typical of the worst kind of Daras. There's about 50 students studying and living here, but the smell is almost overpowering. Look at this. You can see that these are all their clothes hanging up, there's no running water, and the toilet is just a hole in the ground. Parents pay no fees and send children at as young as 4. They may be here for years, never going home. Discipline is enforced by an older boy who uses a length of fan belt from a car engine to keep the pupils in line. Some of the boys wince and raise their arms to try and protect themselves. They're clearly scared. It's extraordinary that they let us film, but it's obviously part of everyday life here. It all happens in front of the teacher, but he insists boys aren't mistreated, and he condemns the government for not funding schools like his. Human rights workers say that's nonsense.
If you see where they are living, where they are sleeping, they have no protection. You know, I have seen with my eyes some of these children, after an accident, they are killed by vehicles. They don't stop, they go. Like if they have killed a dog or an animal.
Unwanted at home and abused at the school, many run away to live on the street, cast-offs amid the refuse. Few people care about them, fewer stop to help. But one who does is Issa Kuyate. He's a social worker who seeks out the Talibes to give them medical treatment and hopefully try and reunite them with their families.
This kind of problems that they have in their feet, it's coming with the water, because they take bath here in the river, and the river is completely dirty. They come here to be free. It's just like to get a life, their life, because in the Daras it's like someone stole their life.
We've just heard about a young boy, and it appears that he was sent away to a Dara outside of Dakar about 5 years ago. Now, he hated it in the Dara, he ran away and then simply disappeared for 7 months. We're going to go and see him and then take him back to be reunited with his family, who haven't seen him for nearly 6 years. This is Ismaila. He's 9 and is one of those rescued by Issa Kuyate. He's staying with the social worker's mother. He's now safe and can start to tell us his story. If they didn't bring back the amount of money the Marabout wanted, what would happen to them?
They were beaten, and he asked them to bring rice, sugar, and things like that. And if ever they didn't bring anything, they were beaten severely.
Were you beaten by the Marabout, Ismaila? He says yes, and he was severely beaten. He just took a gourdin, the one they take to beat sheep, for example, the herd, just to flog the herd. So a whip. They had a whip that you would use on goats or sheep.
Yeah.
He shows us the scars that cover his back, some from the beatings, others from insect bites.
So they didn't give them meals in the Dara. They just went and just begged for some food around, that is in houses around, just begged for food. If they had some, they ate. If they didn't have any, they just remained without eating anything.
So most of the time in the Dara, your stomach was empty.
Yeah.
The old lady looking after Ismaila finds his story too much to bear. She knows many children just like him.
Yàlla baax na bu fekkee ni bii gis nga xale yi yow doo ci mën dara.
It hurts her. And every morning she keeps on crying while helping those little boys. She only wishes the authorities would just one day stand up and say, enough. We have to stop those marabouts because what they're doing is really very bad for Islam. This is not truly what Islam wants.
A social worker now prepares to take Ismaila home, and we're given permission to go with them. He's given the old lady's telephone number and a bag of clothes. He promises to stay in touch and then sets out to see his parents for the first time in more than 5 years. The family know we're coming, but given it was them that sent him away, we don't know exactly how they're going to respond.